Anyway, so we have got teams from d.school Paris in France and the University of Applied Sciences of Hochschule Mannheim. Welcome on stage, team.
Morning. How are you guys all doing? We're Team Valeo, and we're students from d.school Paris and Hochschule Mannheim. Last year, Valeo commissioned us to find ways to enhance the mobility experience of drivers in smart cities. That's a very big brief. So I'm Juan.
And I'm Damien.
And along with the rest of our team, we want to show you guys what we did. That's Paris today. And it's become a zoo. There's all these different things driving around the same road, and they're having a really hard time understanding each other. It used to be that two brains were better than one. But it seems that when brains head to the street, something very strange happens. They stop being able to work as a team. And I guess we can all agree on the fact that when you're driving, a lot of things around you are not better than just a couple things around you. This is what the streets look like today. They're congested, they're crowded, and there's a lot of different types of vehicles which all speak in a way different languages. They have different actions, and there's people on top of every one of these. The thing is that if they can't understand what the other person is saying, and the means they have to communicate are very primitive, that leads to a situation which is potentially dangerous. It's kind of like the story of the Tower of Babel, where nobody could understand anybody. We call it Babel Street. And fear lives on Babel Street. We've got Richie. Richie is a rugby-playing taxi driver from Paris. He looks like he could stop a bus, and you wouldn't think he was scared, but he is. He's scared that he's going to run somebody over. When we were riding around the city with him, it always came up. He's afraid of what he calls things that pop out of nowhere. He's afraid of running people over. He's even had nightmares about it. And even though he's equipped his car with systems, he's still afraid. And with Anne, it's a lot easier to believe that Anne could be scared. Anne is a school teacher. She drives her bicycle to school every day, and that means she has to share the road with buses, with taxis, and the occasional motorcycle. What she's really afraid is that cars get really close to her, and that happens a lot. That happens a lot, especially when cars have to overtake her. The problem with Anne is that she keeps driving, but she's very scared while driving. One of the persons she shares the road with is Fabian. Fabian is a bus driver. He's been driving buses for 10 years, and what we found really interesting is that while Anne is very scared of buses, Fabian is doing everything he can to protect cyclists. Even when that means that he's putting his bus where it shouldn't be, only to protect either cyclists or pedestrians from potentially dangerous vehicles. Fabian, from his cockpit, really wishes he had a way to communicate, a way to interact with people and let them know they're putting themselves in danger. So what we have is Richie, who needs a way to anticipate things that pop out of nowhere, and who needs just a little space around her to feel really safe, and Fabian, who has no way of interacting with people. So we asked ourselves the question, why? If even some of these people have driving assistance systems, do they still have the problem? Why are they still afraid? We figured that a lot of it has to do with the way we conceive driving assistance systems today. The way they work today, they only help the guy inside of the car. And that was a big breakthrough for us. So what we figured is, we've got sensors on cars, at least most new cars. These sensors gather information, and we've got Valeo, who's very good when it comes to sensors. So what we have to do is figure out a way to share that information. For us, it's all about connectivity. It's about finding a way to connect all the people on the road, regardless of the type of vehicle they drive. We want to empower people to feel safer. So now, let me introduce you guys to Safe Space.
So, how do we do this? Well, as Juan already told you, we want to equip all these road users with safe space. And we use sensors for that. But instead of just letting the sensors speak to the user that has them equipped, we use them to actually communicate it to the outside. And we use 5G connectivity to communicate not only to the outside, but to have the safe spaces communicate with each other. And therefore, I want to show you the first two examples of safe space, which are safe bike and safe bus. This is Ömer. He rides around the city, and when he comes near buses, it sometimes gets pretty sketchy and dangerous for him. And safe bus, in this case, pops in, and when Ömer is near the bus and the bus recognizes, oh, Ömer, you're in danger, then this happens. The bus informs Ömer. The bus warns him that you're in danger. And also, safe bus warns the driver. So everyone knows what is happening and there's no misunderstanding. We use computer vision to assess all the surroundings of the bus, and the algorithm just sees, like, is the bus turning or not, and then decides if Ömer is in danger or not. And we communicate to the outside visually that Ömer should stay safe, and yeah. But this is not the only problem Ömer has, because sometimes, like as Anne is afraid of, the danger comes from behind. And therefore we created Safe Bike. And Safe Bike works as follows. It's a bike carrier that has sensors that are directed to the back. So Ömer can now see what he couldn't see before. Let me show you how this works. So Safe Bike really checks the surrounding of Ömer, and someone is coming near, and it pops up. It makes you appear bigger, and it shows the others, please stay away, please keep your distance. So we have the bike carrier with the sensors, and we have the bike wings with the grabbing the attention of the one that's being too close, and we have the display that is really informing the outside to, like, stay away, please respect my safe space. And with these two prototypes, we start. They're autonomously working, and they're connectivity ready. And the next step that we are going to do is, of course, equip more road users, different road users. And we're tackling fleets to quickly scale up. And when 5G connectivity is ready to be out there on the streets, we can interconnect the safe spaces and exchange information. That way we can go really beyond a solution that is only compromised out of sensors. So, safe space sees the things your eyes can't. Safe space lets you understand each other in traffic. And safe space gives you the space you need to feel safe and be safe. Thank you.
Okay, questions to Team Valeo?
Hi, thank you for your presentation. It was very interesting. Do you have a reason why you say when 5G is ready? Because isn't there also the Wi-Fi-based communication technology that you could use for that?
Yeah. I'll just get this question. Yeah, the question is why we don't use Wi-Fi. The benefit of 5G connectivity is that we don't have to, like, go through servers and have this whole delay and lag. But we can have interconnected small ad hoc networks, so it's only really the information you need. So you don't want to know, like, what is happening on the street in Frankfurt, but you just get your surroundings. So if there's a car with 5G connectivity one street further away and there's a danger happening, you can benefit from that. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much. For me as a biker, that's a cool future in the city. One question I had, so do you have it based on batteries on the bike, or is it only for e-bikes, or how is that? Maybe I missed that part.
It's based on batteries, yes.
Okay. So, and then it tells you it's empty and you have to recharge, or?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, at the moment it's based on batteries. If we would like to go further, we also thought about putting LED panels on the back of the carrier. Solar panels, sorry.
That's cool.
Yes, I'm curious to ask about the detection range, because you speak about traffic jams, so probably it needs to have some decent detection range, right? The detection range between the bicycle and the bus, which you can account for.
You mean how far the sensors go?
Yes.
So we use LiDAR sensors on the carrier, and we have about 4 meters that we tested.
All right, photographer with a question here. Got 2 questions for you guys, actually. For the bus, you have sensors that turn on the warning signs for bicycles, right? When it's turning.
You need to come to me.
All right. Could it just turn on every time the bus turns with the side signal?
Yeah, that's one of the things we saw is that these kind of systems like turning signal, for example, have become very banal and just people can forget to put them, they just blend into the landscape if they just become too repetitive. Bus drivers actually have in Paris this kind of pedestrian and cyclist honk, like a horn, and they were telling us that people don't react to them anymore. So the idea is really to only have the system activate when there's really a threatening situation for both, and not just have a very long side blinker, which we did try as well though.
Okay. Second question. That's next one's on the bicycle side. So I've noticed you have the thing and it's really visible from behind. I'm guessing I've been hit by cars multiple times, and with most people, a lot of times when they get hit, isn't from behind, but is when a car comes into your lane or you're in their blind spot, they don't see you and they kind of turn into you. Any thoughts on how your solution could deal with that?
Yeah. So of course, like the scenario represented, the use case is definitely the dangerous overtaking or someone approaching from and getting too close. But that's where we reach for the connectivity, because we can cover more use cases. So when we have better mapping with GPS, we can just use the connectivity and the points, landscape points where the users are, to just get more dangerous situations for assessment and to maybe add more lights. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, I was told to finish, so I'm going to finish, and please ask that booth, the question at the booth then in the afternoon. Thank you so much. Thank you.